Welcome to United Report, your daily hub for all things Manchester United, from transfer news and match updates to exclusive stories. We've got you covered. If you're a true Red Devil, hit subscribe and join the United family. Glory, glory, Man United. Marcus Rashford's dream move to Barcelona has hit a wall of criticism, and it's coming from Manchester United legend Teddy Sheringham. With Rashford training alone and desperate to leave Old Trafford, Sheringham has blasted the forward's attitude and insists he hasn't earned the right to join a club like Barca. As United and Rashford prepare to part ways, could Sheringham's harsh words reflect a growing frustration among fans and former players? Let's dive into the full story. Teddy Sheringham hopes that Marcus Rashford doesn't get the move from Manchester United to Barcelona, claiming the forward isn't worthy of such a switch. The United Academy graduate is tipped to leave Old Trafford this summer after falling out of favour under Ruben Amorim. He was loaned out to Aston Villa for the second half of the season, but Unai Emery's side opted against making his move a permanent one. Rashford is now weighing up his options, and those close to him understand that the dream scenario would see him head to the new camp. The Spanish club are considering a swoop, having missed out on some of their other targets this summer. Nico Williams chose to remain at Athletic Bilbao, whilst Liverpool are determined not to sell Luis Diaz, which could see them turn their attention to the United outcast. Sheringham, though, doesn't believe Rashford's behaviour has warranted a move to one of Spain's giants. The player's attitude and off-field antics were called out by previous manager Erik ten Hag, who previously dropped him on several occasions. Amorim was also quick to highlight issues with Rashford, airing concerns with his application at training. Sheringham told Sky Bet, if you assess where Marcus Rashford is at as a professional footballer, you strive as a youngster to get to the very top and play for clubs like Manchester United, and when you're there you appreciate it. You don't throw it away and say you want to leave. I find the whole episode very soul-destroying compared to the way I was back in the day and how I strove to get the privilege to play for such a huge football club. To hear someone talking the way he is talking, saying he wants out, I didn't like Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang doing that at Arsenal. I thought it was soul-destroying, and I hope Rashford doesn't get the move that he's hankering for. From my perspective, if you go from Manchester United to Barcelona, that's a step up that he hasn't deserved. United and Rashford are keen to part ways in a move that would suit all parties. He is one of a number of major names earning big wages who the club want to get off their books. The player has returned for pre-season, but is training on his own at Carrington. Rashford has proved to be a devastating player in the final third when on form, previously hitting 30 goals in a season, but he's remained hugely inconsistent. Barcelona, though, may feel he can further their attacking quality if they can get him back to his best. Manchester United could be left kicking themselves after two former players they sold cheaply. Anthony Elanga and Alvaro Carreras have just been sold for nearly 100 million combined. The Red Devils banked just over 13 million from the deals, but could they have kept these rising stars? Meanwhile, United's pursuit of Bryan Mbeumo continues to stall as Brentford stand firm on their valuation. With just weeks until the new season, Ruben Amorim is still waiting for reinforcements. Let's get into the full story, only on United Report. Manchester United may be left ruining what might have been after two of their former players were sold for fees totalling almost $100 million size. The Red Devils are desperately looking to revamp their squad following a tortuous 2024-25 campaign. In recent seasons, United have been blighted by numerous missteps in the transfer market, with a string of expensive signings failing to live up to their price tags. The club is trying to move on some of those misfits to fund fresh arrivals and maintain headroom when it comes to PSR restrictions. Only Matheus Cunha has arrived from Wolves this summer, while exhaustive talks with Brentford over another striker, Bryan Mbeumo, continue after at least two rejected bids. To add insult to injury, United have seen two players they let go relatively cheaply flourish and go on to secure big money transfers elsewhere. Anthony Elanga, 23, who United sold to Nottingham Forest for 50 million 2 years ago, has just joined Newcastle United in a 55 million deal. Elanga made 55 appearances for United, but was deemed surplus to requirements by then head coach Erik ten Hag. United did retain an interest in the Swedish winger in the form of a sell-on fee related to profit, which means they will reportedly net 6 million talents. While that is a useful sum, United may have been the club reaping the benefits of his potential instead of a direct rival. Another ex-United player is on the move, Alvaro Carreras, who has left Benfica for Real Madrid in a deal worth 43 million. The left-back, 22, was previously part of Real's youth setup before joining United in 2020. However, again under Ten Hag's watch, he was allowed to leave for Benfica, initially on loan, before sealing a permanent move for just 5 million thalers. United's interest was retained in two ways: a sell-on fee related to profit and a buyback option, reports Fabrizio Romano. United opted not to trigger the buyback clause, although they are said to have received around 7.6 million as part of Real's purchase. Again, United's decision not to keep or trigger their buyback option now looks questionable, given that he now resides with the 15-time European champions. Meanwhile, with just a month to go before the start of the Premier League season, Mbeumo remains a Brentford player, with the two clubs seemingly no closer to striking a deal. United are believed to have offered in excess of 60 million, 55 million plus 7.5 million in add-ons. However, the Bees are said to be demanding a fixed fee that surpasses the 62.5 million that United paid Wolves for Kuna. The impasse adds to the frustration of Amorim, who is eager to get as much business done as soon as possible so he can integrate new players into his squad during an intense pre-season campaign. The Red Devils begin their Premier League campaign against last season's runner-up Arsenal on Sunday, August 17th. Manchester United are set to sign young star Godwill Kokonki to his first professional contract. The 17-year-old will put pen to paper on a deal at Old Trafford, having made a promising start under Ruben Amorim, per the Men. The towering youngster stands at 6'5" and has already left an impression on United's Portuguese head coach. Kokonki is said to have impressed Amorim in the boss's first training session and travelled with the squad to face Ipswich. The teenager went on to make the squad against Arsenal in December and made squads in the Europa League when United defeated Lyon. Kokonki also made the end-of-season tour of Asia and started in the 3-1 win over Hong Kong and came off the bench in defeat to ASEAN All-Stars. The England under-17 international can play in the centre of defence or at left-back. Kokonki played 14 times for United's under-18 side and in the Premier League 2 playoffs as United defeated Everton and West Ham before losing in the semi-final against rivals Manchester City. Amorim was quickly impressed with Kokonki's physicality upon his arrival and commended the defender's maturity. "He's 16, said the boss to MUTV, but he impressed me a lot, so it's also a sign to the youth players that they can be here. If something happened with the first team squad, they have to step up, and I think he's ready. He's very adult to handle the demands of the Premier League." After making the bench for the first time against Arsenal, Kokonki said on social media, "Valuable experience with the squad. Thanks to the manager and the staff for this opportunity. Thank God." Kokonki's early opportunities came amid a major injury crisis in defence for United after Amorim's arrival. Lisandro Martinez, Johnny Evans, Victor Lindelof and Luke Shaw all picked up issues to put them on the sidelines. It is said Kokonki's ambition is to push for his United debut despite his tender age after making his way through the age groups at the club. The Stoke-on-Trent-born prospect has already drawn early comparisons with Manchester City defender Josko Gvardiol. Kokonki could still become the youngest defender to ever represent United at a senior level in the league. No United defender has ever played in the Premier League before turning 18. Former Manchester United goalkeeper David De Gea is attempting to bring Victor Lindelof to Serie A side. Fiorentina following his release from Old Trafford, reports claim. Defender Lindelof was released by United boss Ruben Amorim at the end of last season following 8 seasons with the club. The still managed 25 appearances in all competitions for the Red Devils last season, but only started 6 times in the Premier League, signalling the end of his time in Manchester. Lindelof proved to be a valuable member of the United squad during his spell, as he made 284 appearances and won 2 trophies. The 30-year-old will now be looking ahead to his next chapter after becoming a free agent, and Fiorentina have become an option for him. According to Corriere dello Sport, Lindelof's former United teammate is pushing to bring the centre-back to the Viola. The pair spent 6 years together at United, and De Gea's involvement in the deal comes after he himself revitalised his career after joining the club, playing 42 times for the team and making some fabulous saves. The report says Fiorentina are ready to offer Lindelof a contract at the club, knowing he can be snapped up for free. It adds that the club feel the Sweden star would offer valuable experience as well as backup, following the exits of Matias Moreno and Nicolas Valentini. Should Lindelof join the club, he will be playing in the UEFA Conference League after the club finished 6th in Serie A last season. Along with De Gea, Lindelof would also be playing alongside former Manchester City forward Edin Dzeko and ex-Everton star Moises Kean. Lindelof was one of 3 senior players who were released by Manchester United at the end of the campaign, including Christian Eriksen and Johnny Evans.